Well, of course, I don't know what it's like to be a high major, so I don't know about that experience. But to me, D1 is D1. Mid majors beat high majors all the time. So it's everybody's kind of an even playing field for me as far as the D1 level. So.
What up, man? Welcome to the third episode of the New South Podcast. It's myself, Rod Bridgers, and we got to my left, my guy, Webb Wellman, Ball is Life East.
Yes, sir.
Goaty.
Yes, sir.
What's going on, man?
Behind the camera.
Yeah.
Got to make sure to shout out producer Don Juan.
Don Juan.
Everyone get in the comments. Make this man get on the camera.
Please. We need Don Juan. So what's going on with you, man?
We just got done interviewing Chris Clemons, which
Dope
we'll
interview.
get into in a little bit, but that was awesome.
Yeah, man.
Honestly, man, we don't really have a lot of time to waste. The more we do this, the more topics we got to get to.
Before we do start, I just want to show the camera my jersey today. I had to, last week we had our top 5 point guards discussions, and as you can see, the one I chose number 1 last night just went off. Shout out to Young Chef.
Is his mic working? Can you turn his mic off?
I think we're working. I think we're
tired
good.
of that.
I think what he had 49, and then the guy that picked number 3, I think he had 37.
Oh.
He was unbelievable as well too.
Okay.
Ooh, I'm just saying.
So to introduce a new series that we're going to be doing on the podcast, we're going to start doing the Flourish Report. Shout out to our guy Cuffs the Legend.
Yo, Cuffs, what up, man? We gotta have you on, dog.
The Flourish Report, what we're going to do is we're going to take players that grew up in North Carolina and somehow managed to escape the in-state universities and found themselves finding success somewhere else. So I'd actually like to start with you, and who's your week 1 Flourish report on?
So the guy I chose this week is my guy Gary Clark out at Cincinnati, man. I mean, Gary's been rock steady for 4 years at Cincy, but like this year he's just turning it up, man. He's having an All-American type year. I think he's averaging 13 and 9. Then they beat Memphis yesterday. I think he had 18 and 10. I want to make sure.
That's right.
Yeah, 18 and 10. So Gary's just like that junkyard dog, man. Like he just plays with a chip on his shoulder. He plays angry. He's always on around a loose ball. And for his size, he's a great rim protector, man.
I think personally that Gary's mixtape is one of the more undervalued mixtapes.
Yeah.
One reason being that he wasn't, a big name recruit, and the other reason being the intro of his mixtape was a little soft, but he dunks on so many people in this video. It is unbelievable. Gary, Gary graduated in 2014? 2014. It's rare that I get to cover guys and there not be any other cameras in the gym, and I got Gary for 2 seasons basically by myself.
Yeah.
And between the fans at Clayton, the students, how they treated me, and the way that Gary is as a person, he kind of re-energized me in the whole mixtape thing, because I knew that every night I was showing up, what I could do to help him meant more to him than most, and the fact that he was going to show the F out, right? So he actually, his senior year, he recorded the first ever quadruple-double in NCHSAA history.
That's crazy.
That is unreal.
That's
points,
crazy.
rebounds, assists, and blocks. Double
That's crazy.
figures.
Gary might kill me for saying this, but I remember when he was young, he was a little chubby kid, and he was kind of still finding his body, finding himself. And he wasn't as talented, but then you saw him again like 2 years later, he was like, holy crap, that's not the same kid. But
I almost think it was confidence, because he was one of those guys that he worked consistently, work. It didn't just all happen at once. And then I think once he started to dominate on the court, he was like,
you can't hold me.
Yeah, you can't hold me now. He had one of the best dunks I've ever recorded, and my camera wasn't working. At the Salvation Army here in Raleigh, Bryce got it, and we'll be able to show it's on this video, and I'll put the clip on the podcast.
Was that like that
version.
All-Star game they were having?
Yeah,
like
it
that?
was just some real
guy
low key
Spoon threw that.
AAU stuff.
Yeah, I remember that.
And Gary comes down the lane, chest to chest, cock
Yeah.
back. The camera said I got it, and I got home to put it on the internet, and it was blue screen.
Party foul.
You want to talk about it ill? Boy, I could have murdered somebody. So Gary's a great way to start. Gary's someone who's got pro aspirations, and someone who will hopefully find himself in the second rounds.
I would say
Late first round, second round, and if nothing else works out, he will absolutely find himself a bag overseas. He works too hard. He plays too hard. He's too talented. My Flourish report, I went with a Broughton kid, someone who we did not show enough love to with the mixtape game growing up.
Well, I would say this: nobody showed love to him like that.
Well, I mean, to be fair, we missed on him and Jerome, who were at Broughton at the same time.
Yeah.
Devonte Graham,
Right.
Kansas. Devonte Graham, if you remember correctly, went through a bunch of drama with App State, committed. They wanted to hold him hostage. He was able to get himself out of that with the help of Dwayne West and the whole Gardner Road crew. And I would imagine that took a lot of people, a village, to kind of get that done.
Yeah.
The reality is App State knew what they had. Mm-hmm. They knew they had stolen one, and they did not want to let him go. You can't keep a kid where he doesn't want to be. And that's just the long and the short of that.
I agree.
He ended up at Kansas. If you saw him at Broughton, you probably thought he was good, but you might not have thought he was NBA good. When he went to Brewster, his game changed.
It did.
His dominance changed. His demeanor changed. The way he carried him, everything was. He was really good at Broughton. Brewster is where he became a problem.
I agree.
So I like Devonte because I think that his head is in the right place, and I think he's another guy that outworked his scouting report.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what's next for him and kind of where his talent and skill set with his size, kind of what he's capable of with that.
One thing about Devonte, I think that'll help him, like far as like he comes from a winning program in Kansas.
You can backtrack farther than that.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Because even with Gardner Road, like you're coming from a system.
Yeah.
You're coming from a system. At Broughton, they never were bad.
That's true.
And Brewster, you
They went
don't
to the
lose.
State championship.
That's right. That's exactly right. State championship.
Yeah.
And then at Brewster, you just don't lose.
Yeah, that's true. So
and at Kansas, you don't lose very much.
You don't lose. So if he can get in the system, and he can be a guy that can come in second unit, knock shots down. I can see it with somebody like the Spurs. The Spurs take guys like him and turn them into 10-year vets. So I mean,
did you know that this week he moved past Wilt Chamberlain as 25th on Kansas's all-time scoring list?
That's crazy.
I was shocked by that. Like, and that's just the difference of staying 4 years.
But listen, I can tell you one list he won't move past Wilt Chamberlain on.
Yeah, what's that?
Moving on.
Run him up.
Raw dog Wilt.
From actually two guys who you said raw dog Wilt. Oh my God. From a couple guys that outworked their scouting report, let's shift to another guy that outworked that scouting report, and that's who we sat down with earlier today, Chris Clemons.
Great kid, man, first and foremost.
So what we're going to do is I want to tell you, the viewers, the audience, a little bit about Chris, and then we're going to run his interview for y'all to listen to, and then me and Rod are just going to kind of what we took away from the day. Chris Clemons is a 5'9" junior at Campbell University. He's got a 44-inch vertical. He is currently going back and forth as the third or fourth best scorer in the NCAA. He is going 0.1 with another guy.
Right.
He's averaging 25.2 points a game right now, which has him currently today where we sit in fourth. Number one on that list is Oklahoma's Trae Young. Mm-hmm. Last year in the Big South tournament, Chris Clemons, 5'9", Chris Clemons averaged 37.6 points a game, including a 51-point game and an upset win versus UNC Asheville.
Yeah, I watched that game like start to finish. Like he was lights out. Like,
he's had multiple 40-point games since January 1st, including game winners.
Yeah, 2 game winners in 3 weeks, right? Yeah,
mm-hmm.
It's crazy. He's been on SportsCenter more than me. That means I've been on SportsCenter 0.
So let's get into that interview and kind of see what he had to say.
Cool. We have one of the nation's leading scorers, the Hoop State's own Chris Clemons. Chris, what's going on, man?
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me.
Good, man. So
I like how official you are.
That's so cool, right? Thanks for having me. So cool. Chris, man, so first of all, man, thank you for coming on the podcast, man. We really, it was a shot in dark. We was like, I'm going to tweet Chris and see if he'll come on. You agreed to it, so we appreciate you, man.
Some real fans.
We are, man. I'm a huge fan. I've been a fan for you a long time, man. I do want to say first and foremost, man, we're all proud of you, man. Like, you're putting on for North Carolina. I mean, you've been on SportsCenter twice in the last, 3 weeks?
You basically live
something
on
like that,
right?
Yeah.
Let's just change the Chris Center. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, man. So you want to go ahead and get into it? So
yeah, let me. So we're operating on low budgets here, so we're sharing microphones. We're just gonna skip right over that and keep it moving. I want to start with something kind of like probably separate from what a lot of people ask you about. And we saw your brother Carly coming up, and how crazy his bounce was, and how athletic he was, and I want to know. Carly in his prime versus Chris Clemons in his prime, who's winning a dunk contest? And furthermore, who's winning a dunk contest and who's winning one-on-one in the driveway? In his prime. I'm assuming you and your prime is right now.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not there yet. So
Okay.
I'm not sure what he's up
All
to,
right.
but just whatever his ceiling, let's put him there.
All right.
Who's taking it?
Dunk contest is tough. You know, I definitely got one-on-one. I definitely winning that.
Definitely have one.
Definitely winning one-on-one. Dunk contest is tough, man. If you ever seen him in a dunk contest, you
got
you
video.
know that.
We got
Yeah, you
video.
know that. You know, he's got some stuff with him, but you know, I got a little bit more torque to my game. So
Okay, so
a little
we're
bit more
going to play the
acrobaticness.
political game and say you're taking one-on-one,
I'm taking one-on-one.
and just to throw some brotherly love out there, you'll say he might be able to
He
get you in
might.
the dunk contest.
He might. It's basically whether I miss my dunk or not, because he's not missing his.
Okay, so he's making his, whatever.
Yeah, whatever it is, he's making it.
So kind of sticking to that back in the day vibe. I've covered Millbrook for a long time, and I personally think a lot of Millbrook's player success in college stems from the system that was put in place at Millbrook. Can you just kind of tell me what about the culture of sports at Millbrook, specifically basketball, what's different? Why is Millbrook so different?
Well, you know, Millbrook is very scrappy, scrappy type of play. You know, you gotta have a lot of speed and endurance to play there. You know, defense has got to be on the top of your brain. You know, at Millbrook, you know, we were very good defensively when I was there, and I think they're still good now. You know, and you gotta believe in the system we play in. So, you know, that's always gonna help you in college.
Do you think that's coaching? Do you think that stemmed from Scott, or do you think it was more of just that's kind of the culture they built at Millbrook, that they wanted to be academically sound and athletically exceptional as well?
I think it's a little bit of both. You know, playing for Scott McGinnis was great, but you know that system is kind of, you know, risky business. So, you know, run and gun type offense. So, you know, if you're hitting, it's great. You know, you're missing. You know, it's hard to stick with it. So, you know, he always pushed us to stick with that system, and you know, we pulled through a lot of games that way.
Did you find yourself looking for something similar when you were looking at colleges in terms of finding a system that mimicked what you were in, or were you kind of ready to do something different? Because I would say here it's kind of the same. Get the ball around, run and gun, play defense, create offense.
Yeah.
That's tough. Well, there's not a lot of colleges that play defense like we did. But
That's
you know,
a compliment too. To
Yeah,
say,
yeah,
high school program.
yeah.
That is true.
Yeah, but you know, when I first came here, it wasn't even like this. So, you know, we kind of adapted into this style of play. You know, just because it's fitting the players we got now.
Changing the culture, man.
Yeah,
I dig it.
You know, it helped our record a lot. You know, we're playing better. You know, running and gunning. So, you know, I think, you know, especially recruiting from Millbrook, I think we, you know, took a few things from that system. So, you know, that was credit to him.
Shout out Scott again.
Yeah, shout out Scott.
Shout out to him. All right, so switching gears a little bit here, we're coming to Campbell. So, I mean, this is your junior year here. I mean, the things you've done. I mean, you're running the Big South tournament last year. That was crazy, man. It was the Big South, right?
37.5.
My fault. I just want to make sure I said the right conference. Yeah. It was crazy. It was crazy.
Nah, I keep you on track.
Right. I appreciate that. I just want to make sure, you know, shout out to Campbell. Thank you for having us here. So what's been your favorite moment so far at Campbell? Could you pinpoint, say one thing that's been your favorite moment?
Man, I love the tournament. You know, the first time, you know, we've ever been deep in a tournament in a long time. You know, just the atmosphere and our fans there was great. You know, but the best memory I have, you know, was recently when we played Liberty. You know, just, you know, having Marcus out there, you know, shooting threes with me, and you know, celebrating him.
That's the game where y'all both hit 10, right?
Yeah,
both hit 10
both hit 10 threes.
That
and,
was
you know,
unbelievable.
Just having somebody on the team to celebrate, you know, have something to share with me, you know, that was great for me.
That's dope, man. So, what would you say your ultimate goal this year? I know last year you guys got to the tournament, the championship game. What would you say your ultimate goal is this year? So,
well, we want to win the tournament this time.
Right.
So, you know, we made it there. We didn't get the job done, but we want to win it. You know, we want to win the regular season. You know, we don't want to.
And that's about a tournament bid. That's about you want to win the tournament so you have a chance to go to the NCAA. Is that what
Definitely.
the ultimate goal for you is to experience what that tournament
Yep,
is like?
definitely. We don't want to just make it there. You know, we want to win. We want to make a statement. We want to win some games there, but that's a tough task. You know, so just gotta take one step at a time.
You played a lot of high-level people in high school. A lot. When you look back on your high school career, is there any one player or matchup that stands out to you in terms of either giving you a taste of what was next, or maybe you played a guy who's ranked higher than you that you wanted to prove a point against? Is there any matchups from that your high school career that stand out to you?
Well, you always got a point to prove, being me. But
hold on, let me stop
being
you right
me,
there. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by
being
that?
me,
For people that
mean-
don't know maybe your path or where you've been, when you say being me, you always have something to prove. What does that mean?
I mean, I was never highly ranked. I went through a stretch. I didn't play in AAU. I was, kind of riding the bench for a little bit. So in a system I thought I was, should be on the court. I'm sure a lot of kids experience that now. So, I kind of stuck with it. I kept working, and I've shown that I was, capable of, playing on any court that I'm gonna, be on in the near future and in, further future. But, it's just that's part of being me. But, just as far as high school, we played some great talent. And Dennis Smith, just because he's a point guard, it's got to be the best game I've ever played in. Best
And y'all got to
atmosphere.
play them at Millbrook.
At
which is
Millbrook,
dope.
at home. A crowd definitely turned out for that one. I think y'all were there too, so I saw that. But it was a great game. Special guy.
Do you keep up with him at all?
I mean, I wasn't really close to him. So I couldn't say. I keep
Are there
up
any
with
of
him,
those
but-
guys? Because I know you play with some of the people you played against in high school. Are there any guys that you matched up against or played against that were outside of the Millbrook program that you kind of kept up with, either through the AAU scene or even just exchanging numbers and you text them back and forth every now and again? Is there any camaraderie in that sense?
Well, yeah, I mean, I keep up with my teammates. I'm still keeping up with some of my old teammates. Trajan, Jacobs. Keep up with Andrew. Keep up with Robert a little bit. So, we all kind of hang out. And when we come back home, we get together at Millbrook. Play a little bit, pick up. So, all those guys. We still keep in touch with each other, see how we're doing in college, and that kind of stuff.
Who would you say, and this is going to be Rod's question that I'm going to steal over, but I know you grew up idolizing Allen Iverson.
Yeah.
I don't know that. I read that. If,
You read that?
if that's true.
That's true.
Who would you say that your game compares the most to right now, where you're at right now?
That's in the NBA right now.
I mean, they don't have to be, but yeah, I would imagine probably NBA guys would be easier.
That's in the NBA right now. Maybe like Eric Bledsoe or somebody like that. Somebody that's like short and stocky type build, explosive point guard, scores the ball. So, I mean, that's kind of like the easiest comparison I can think of.
See, I would think the easiest comparison, the one people would most do, would just be like on some Isaiah Thomas shit.
Because people always on his side.
Yeah, exactly. Short,
Isaiah
stocky.
Thomas.
You play more taller than you are. I mean, I've seen highlights where you'll shoot the ball and just you're the first person to run. Like to play at the Holiday Invitational, your senior year, when you shot at the free throw line and you just went and dunked, like, yo, you don't see 6'5", 6'6".
Yeah, how do you have a second bounce like that?
Like,
That's crazy.
so real,
Yeah, I don't
bro,
know.
so-
See, I would assume what you hear the most from like your mainstream media would be Isaiah Thomas, Nate Robinson, those kind of lazy player comparisons. I can guarantee you, no one in the history of media would be like, oh, well, I would say he plays like Eric Bledsoe. I like that. I never would say that, but that's dope. Like I can totally see kind of the aggressiveness, the mentality.
I mean, he studied his game and try to look at different things.
Yeah.
And we touched on it, just kind of you saying you being you. Do you feel like at this point in your career, you being overlooked for your size is fair?
No. I don't think it's fair at all, but, it's going to happen. I can't stop that. I can't stop what people think, but,
Did you hear that when you went through the draft process last year? Was
No.
that something people said they were concerned about your size with defense or any of that, or they just that wasn't even a concern for them?
Not a concern. 5'9" players have, a unique type defensive deal that they have to experience, have to overcome. So, we're still kind of waiting on a player like that to, emerge to be a 5'9" great defender. But
Is that you?
I hope so. I mean, we're working on that part. But
I mean,
that
the
game,
reason I
that
say
part of the
that-
game still has to
The
come.
reason I say that is because you're in a kind of a dope position where you can be, you work hard enough. Anything is possible in my eyes for you.
Absolutely.
So like it would be dope to say, instead of saying, I'm waiting for that guy to come through, like how crazy would it be if that
You might be that guy.
Yeah, if I make it there first, then I'm gonna try to make it me. But
when you make
you
it
make
first.
it,
I like that.
Yeah.
So God willing.
So talking a little bit. I know last year you actually entered the NBA draft, and I think correct me if I'm wrong. You worked out for the Nuggets and the Celtics as well, right?
Right.
I know Danny Ainge had nothing but good things to say about you. What were kind of some of the things that they told you that you did well, or what did they want to see you do better this year?
Something that was great that everybody kind of compliments me on is kind of my aggressiveness, on the offensive end, just kind of having no fear, playing kind of like this kind of risky game, but it's kind of paying off for me. But Danny Ainge was a great shooter, so anything he has to say, it's above and beyond a compliment. So, I thank him for that, and I can't have asked for anything better.
Knowing what you know now about the recruiting process, about college decisions, about what comes next, if you could go back and sit in a room with 13-year-old Chris Clemons, what would you tell him about what to expect or what to do differently in the recruiting process?
I wouldn't tell him anything, actually.
Do exactly the same thing.
I'm doing exactly the same thing. It's working out right now, so.
And you say that because everything you've learned, every experience you've been through, that's kind of molded your mentality and that chip on the shoulder kind of aspect.
I think what drives him, like,
makes
him who he is, like the fact that he has been overlooked, and he had, like, even though you've seen him go do the things he did, So I mean, I think that's huge. That's what.
And to make sure we're right, you never played on a major shoe circuit, AAU wise. Is that right? You always play with Red Storm.
Mm-hmm. Red Storm, WCBA, also not. Major
They're making
circuit.
moves right now.
Garner Road, but I don't.
You play. You just jumped on with them for a tournament or two type deal.
Well, most of my younger days I was with them, but for the major,
okay.
like
I don't think I ever got video of you in a Garner Road.
Yeah.
I think it was always
Good.
WCBA.
WCBA and obviously Red Storm, which you on and those guys over there.
Mm.
That's good, though. I like hearing that you would do it the same way, because I think that's what a lot of kids overlook is the fact that the mistakes you make, the hardships you make, the good, the bad, the ugly, whatever, that's who makes you who you are. That's what – because I would say the same thing about my career.
Yeah.
Like, what would you – there's a ton of stuff that I could have done differently that would have yielded maybe more optimal results. But at the end of the day, every lesson I learned, every hardship I went through is what kind of molded me and made it possible to make the moves now.
All right.
So that's dope. I appreciate that out of you. That's dope. He asked you what your favorite moment was so far this season. I'm gonna ask you again, kind of having the knowledge you have now, and you have friends that play at big programs or connections at bigger programs. What do you think the biggest difference is for a big program versus you kind of being here, leaving the legacy that hopefully, again, God willing, you're going to be able to leave at the school? Do you think there's more value? And obviously you're living it, so you have the best answer. Is there more value in being the man, leaving the legacy, possibly having your jersey lifted into the rafters at a school like Campbell, or going and spending a year or two at an ACC school, just being another guy on the team and maybe that enhancing your platform for whatever's next?
Well, of course, I don't know what it's like to be a high major, so I don't know about that experience. But to me, D1 is D1. Mid majors beat high majors all the time. So it's everybody's kind of an even playing field for me as far as the D1 level. So, it's always
you're all fighting for a championship, for a tournament.
Yeah,
bid
we all got
at
the
the end
same
of
goal. So, it's a legacy is always great to leave. Accomplishments, should be cherished. So, anytime I make an accomplishment, I'm always happy for it. And, I might not have ever achieved any of the accomplishment I've had I been in like ACC or whatever conference it is. So
as a junior, you've got one more year left in college. Last year you were top 5 in scoring. This year you are currently top 5 in scoring, top 3 in scoring. where does Chris Clemons see himself in 5 years? So in 2023.
2023.
That's right. What do you see for yourself? What do you hope to see for yourself professionally and personally in 5 years?
I want to be an all-star. I'm going to be an NBA all-star in 5 years. Hopefully. It's a tough task.
I hope you.
That's a
I
tough
hope that
task,
you do, because we're on the New South right now. So if you do that, then this is gonna make us even better, you know. So,
but yeah, we'll set the bar high. You know, that's clearly the top of the top. But you know, that's why I'm setting the bar.
I don't think
5
it's
years.
far. I don't think it's far fetched. I mean, what you've done thus far. I mean, at this point, if you never played another game in Campbell, your jersey is going to the Raptors. I mean, let's just call it what it is. I mean, to say that, I mean, it's not, for everything I've seen you do. It's not far-fetched to say that you can't do anything. Like, I mean, I honestly believe that somebody should take you in the first round. And I'm not saying it just because you're sitting here. I think in terms of production, and there's somebody that could just go out and just, you know, just be who you are, that allow you to be who you are. Like, sky's the limit for you, man. So, me personally, I mean, that's what I believe, you know. So
Appreciate
you
it.
ever, so saying, you know, NBA All-Star 5 years, have you ever sat down and just, and again, like, never people who have been in a position to make money from the game. Has there ever been a time with yourself or your family where you sat down and said, like, I'm going to make money doing this? Because look, that's whether it's NBA, whether it's overseas, whatever it is, worst case scenario, you go overseas, whatever, like, you're in line to make a bunch of money doing what you love to do. In comparison to, like, most college kids who are fighting for a 9-to-5 when they get out. Like, has the reality of how close you have to continue to work hard, outwork everyone, outwork your scouting report, outwork whatever. But I think you already know that. I think that part is secure with you. Have you ever thought about the day that might come where you're signing a contract where, like, all this work and all this stuff that you set out as a young kid, like, it's within reach now? Has that hit you yet? Because that, to me, as someone who's seen it from a bunch of different levels, like, that's what hits me on that. That's what's dope to me. Yeah. That's what gives me goosebumps, is like, you have outworked what everyone has said about you. And whether it's NBA All-Star, NBA whatever, like, or like I said, overseas money, there's a chance where you're talking 6-7 figures in your future 5 years from now. Yeah. And the impact that can have on your family and the community and whatever else you want it to impact. Have you slowed down enough yet to think about that and the reality of that?
No, I haven't. You know, honestly, I haven't. But, you know, I just try to keep my head down, kind of focus on the now. You know,
just work.
I still got some work to do, clearly. So, you know, I don't want to, you know, be saying I'm going to get there. You know, so I still got work to do.
The second time we will have you on this podcast will be the day after you sign that piece of paper.
All right, yeah, we can talk.
And honestly, that's the only question I'm going to want to ask you is, now that we're here, tell me what it feels like. So that'll be the second edition of Chris Clemons on the podcast, will be when he is officially a professional.
We'll be in season like 2.
Right. And again, we say all that, God willing. That's, you know, you stay healthy, you continue to outwork everyone. I think there's a lot of amazing things that are coming your way. So going into it, I think we were nervous that he would be a little bit sheltered, a little bit in his shell. Yeah. Because what we're doing is different. Like, most people are used to your regular media kind of vibe, and we're trying to have conversations. We're trying to talk. We're trying to chop it up. Yeah. I would say the thing I took away from it the most is I already knew he had a chip on his shoulder mentality. But when you ask guys, you know, for me, as I've seen guys go from nothing to everything in terms of the high school ranks, the pro ranks, you know, whatever, to ask him to look ahead realistically about some things that could be coming to him, and to see his eyes and his face, I thought we got a really honest answer to those questions, which was dope.
Yeah. One thing about Chris, I've known Chris for some years, probably when he was probably in 5th, 6th grade. He was always, you know, small in stature, but he always played with that chip on his shoulder. And even seeing him in high school, the things that he did, I mean, it was simply amazing. The thing about what I took away from the interview today is just that, you know, he is focused. He's laser focused right now in terms of where he wants to go and where he wants to be.
Taking full advantage of being in the middle of nowhere.
Absolutely, because you're in the middle of nowhere in Campbell, literally. Yeah. So, but yeah, I think he has a chance, man. hopefully, an NBA team will give him a chance. At the very least, he will get a summer league team. Training camp invite. I think he'll get an opportunity. Granted, you get in the right system. I mean, he already had Danny Ainge saying good things about him. So
he's the type of player that if you go watch him play against your team, and you're hating him to start the game, I guarantee you by the time that last buzzer sounds, you respect Chris Clemons.
You will respect him.
And you'll be telling your friends about what you saw that day.
Absolutely.
Big shout out to Chris. Thank you for doing that. Our first guest of many,
sir.
hopefully.
Yes, yeah.
But we went down to Bowie's Creek, and they were very accepting and willing to help us out. And I think Chris is I don't want to say a diamond in the rough, because I'm not sure that I would consider the basketball culture in Raleigh rough. Yeah. But if you're not expecting anything from Chris Clemons, you're not paying attention.
I agree.
So the other thing we want to do is we want to get back into the mixtapes of the week. Since our first episode had so much conversation. Rod, again, I'm going to start with you. Mm-hmm. Your mixtape of the week this week. Who would you like to talk about?
So I got to go. My guy Theo Pinson, current UNC guard, forward, do it all guy. Theo had a hell of a game yesterday, man. That was a great game. I know it's a topic we're going to touch on here in a little bit.
Yeah,
but
next.
Yeah, it's shout out to the pack, right? Yeah. Yeah. But, I mean, Theo in high school, man. I mean, I know I date myself here, but I remember Theo when he was 9 or 10 years old, watching him play AAU. Theo was dominant then. So to watch him in high school, the things he did, playing with CP3, playing with Wesleyan, like he did it all. Like, I think at one point he was the #1 player in the country, wasn't he?
According to some YouTube channel we watched the other day, yeah, I guess that.
His freshman year, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that was Telep too. Oh,
yeah. I was getting ready to say there was some bias in that ranking.
Shout out to Dave Telep, man.
What's funny is was it you or Eric that told me about the German guy? Me. So producer Donnie was at Elite 24 a few years ago, mm-hmm. and he had some guy from Germany, like from Germany, accent, full 9.
Right.
Showing us love at Ball is Life. Said he watches all the videos and everything, and he said his favorite mixtape of all time was Theo Pinson. Which, it's Theo. I made the mix. Yeah. The mix itself is dope, but for a guy from, if a dude from North Carolina, a guy from Greensboro, or a UNC fan told me that, it wouldn't be as surprising, but right. This dude has no bias. He's watching the video, strictly for the video.
Right.
And he said that this mix was one of his favorites. That meant a lot to me. But I think it also speaks to Theo's mix is a combination of skill and personality.
Right.
And playing on a team that mattered.
Yep.
And his mix, if you hadn't have done it, it would have been mine probably next week. I'm just trying to avoid the bias of the videos I've made, which is why for my mixtape feature of the week, I went with a guy that's a little bit different, Collin Sexton.
Okay.
Collin Sexton is from Georgia, and he currently plays at Alabama. Mm-hmm. He is probably the one player that I have covered who I can, as a compliment, say he's a weirdo.
Yeah.
He's weird as hell.
Yeah.
But he's weird in a way that Kobe's weird.
Or
Kyrie's weird. He's weird in a way that's scary.
Right.
I don't want to mess with you, guy.
Right.
We had him at the All-American game for the Balls Life All-American game.
Yeah.
And he was to himself, headphones in the whole time, not talking to anybody.
Yeah.
And if we were joking with him about, yo, so-and-so's talking that shit, yo, you should get these ones.
Yeah.
He's not laughing, smart. One headphone out, check rock. Let's go. That's the way he is 100% of the time. Right. And if you watch him play against Trae Young yesterday, if you watch any of his games, he's coming to kill you.
Yep.
And if you let him lock on, he's going to kill you.
Absolutely.
If you have not seen Alabama play basketball this year, find a way to watch Collin Sexton. He will be dramatic in the most amazing way.
If you don't watch him now, you'll watch him in the NBA next year.
Right. And he'll be the type of guy that's causing drama because I even as an NBA player, I don't think he's going to back down from the way he is.
You know what he kind of reminds me of in a sense of what you're saying, his mentality. It's kind of like a Rondo. Like Rondo's that type of guy.
Rondo was different.
Rondo's a different type of guy where, you know, like we met Rondo in the airport one time, and he took pictures with people, but, you know, it was kind of like, all right, like, go ahead, let's get this shit over with and get out my face.
Well, I can speak to, like, I didn't like Kobe Bryant growing up.
Yeah.
As a Michael Jordan fan, I didn't like Kobe, but at a certain point, he reached a place where it's like, if I don't like him, it's just because I'm a hater.
Yeah.
He's too good.
Right.
And I think Collin Sexton will play himself into those conversations where it's like, you might, if he's not playing for your team, you're going to hate him.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, you're going to be like, dude, this guy is ridiculous. Like, respect. I can't not like him. Like, it's just, he's too different. His mixtape's not even that good. It's just the fact that he is such a different kind of animal. He's...
My favorite clip of Sexton is when he's at the free throw line, the kids talking to him, looking at him.
Not shooting a free throw. He's waiting to rebound.
He's just looking at him and just kind of, he just looks back at him like, what you looking at?
The one kid glances and Collin stares him down
to
let him, don't ever look at me.
Right.
He, in a game versus Penny Hardaway, same event,
I heard
right?
it was this.
Penny Hardaway is coaching the team. His son is playing for the team. Collin Sexton is yelling every possession, your son is trash. Your son is trash. Get him off the court. He's doing that to an NBA legend, Hall of Famer.
Yeah, right.
Collin Sexton is the man.
Shout out to young boy, man.
So we kind of added this topic last second because of the way the game went, but we do want to talk about my school, NC State, versus your school, UNC. With your Steph Curry jersey on.
Well, first of all, I don't have a school anymore.
Come on.
Listen. I'll say this.
This is what Carolina fans do.
No, listen.
No. Same energy. You're a Carolina fan. Go ahead.
I'm going to give you the same energy.
Tell me about how Luke May is going to win out ultimately. Tell me about how Joel...
First of all, for me, Carolina, being a Carolina fan, former Carolina fan, I don't hurt the same as they used because I don't hurt the same like when Collin losing now. I don't give a shit. Before, like when Austin Rivers hit that shot, I stared in the wall till 3 o'clock in the morning.
Crocodile tear.
I couldn't believe it, and like so I'm just like that hurt me. So I got to the point in my life I'm like, you know what, I will not let Carolina determine my temperament and my mood in life. So
I feel bad for anyone who feels that way about NC State. If you let NC State games control your temperament.
Well, so okay, right. So here's the problem with NC State, and I a lot of kids on NC State. Shout out LeVar on the boys like that. NC State will beat Duke, they'll beat UNC, they'll beat Arizona, but they might go play Wake Tech next week and get blasted by 30.
Facts.
And I mean, shout out, no shade to UNCG. UNCG's a tournament team, but you have no business losing UNCG.
Sure.
So I mean, that's just the enigma that
now
is.
You're starting to sound like a Carolina fan.
That is the enigma. That's NC State basketball, or NC State athletics. I mean.
What I'm going to say to that is absolutely how NC State basketball has been.
Right.
Kevin Keats basketball is not going to sustain like that. You're going to play way too hard on a consistent basis to allow yourself to get tricked. Because, like you said, the way NC State works is you beat a team to ruin their season, and then the very next week you play someone someone you should never lose to, and you get blasted by 20. This is not a specific example. That did not happen this year, but as a State fan, every time I see them win a big game, I think to myself, uh-oh.
Right. Well, can I say this? And I'll let you continue your Kevin Keats appreciation post here, but NC State in a nutshell is like a Julius Hodge nut punch from CP3. Like that's just NC State basketball in a nutshell. Shout out to Hodge, man. Gotta have you on soon, but you know, shout out to CP.
You just had to talk about somebody getting hit in the dick on here.
Oh man, he's gonna call and curse me out for that one, but it's cool.
So I just want to make this whole conversation about UNC, NC State very clean and complete.
We can do that.
I do want to say that NC State's bench had scoring from one player only.
He didn't miss either, did he?
29 points for Al Freeman off the bench. No other State player scored off the bench. Malik Abu, where you at, bro?
Yo.
You did not get a bucket? Not one bucket?
That's your man.
Malik, one bucket?
Is that your guy?
One bucket. He got mad at me one time because when he wanted to go pro, I said, where's he going?
You know why? Because it was my tweet. It was my tweet.
He favorited it or whatever. And I was trying to say, I'm not saying you're not a pro ever, but like at the time you were talking about
it was like 2 years ago.
There was a reason you came back, bro.
And you're still there.
Well, I don't want to make him mad now. That was Rod that said that.
Well, I mean, I don't go to State games anyway. So.
But you didn't score against Carolina. That's a problem.
Yeah.
UNC, Couldn't hit a free throw, couldn't hit a three, but they won on the boards, and they had a better assist-to-turnover ratio.
Okay.
More scoring off the bench.
Yeah.
And there was kind of everyone scored evenly throughout. The only other question I have about this Kevin Keats victory is who is better, Luke May or Omer Yurtseven?
I gotta go Yurtseven. If we're talking pro potential, it gotta be Yurtseven. He's a 7-footer that can shoot, and can stretch the floor, stretch the defense. So I mean, it's crazy that we're talking about Luke May in a pro sense period, but I mean, Yurtseven is. I mean, he's better. Luke. I mean, the thing about Luke May. I mean, he's kind of a liability on defense. I think he's a good player.
Luke May is one bloody nose away from being Tyler Hansbrough.
I agree. Like you think about
amazing college player.
Like you think about the last 4 minutes of the game yesterday. Like they just ISO'd Markell Johnson on Luke May and just let him just blow by, pull up threes. Like he just like and Markell Johnson. I've never seen him play like that in my life.
And can I throw some fuel for the commenters?
Mm-hmm.
I believe that Omer has got better pro potential.
Okay.
Luke May is a better investment.
Give me your reason behind that.
I would leave both of them alone if I was a pro team.
Mm-hmm.
I think with Omer, you don't know what you're getting when you pay him. For a guy that's just starting to figure it out, and it took him a year and a half to figure it out at that level.
True.
Now you got to go figure it out in the pros with guys that don't give a shit about you as much, about your personal progression.
True.
And you're going to have money.
That's true.
And with Luke, I think if you give Luke May $10 million right now, he's still driving a Bronco. He's still wearing Wrangler pants. He's still in the woods hunting deers and shit. He doesn't.
And he's gonna turn it into $30 million somehow.
Right.
Yeah. So.
I wouldn't want either of them. But if again, like gun to my head, you make me pick one, I know what I'm getting a great practice player out of Luke May.
Right. So.
And I just wanted to use, since Carolina lost, and I know there's a lot of salty Carolina fans, I do want to use this opportunity to shout out for the third episode, Kobe White.
Right.
Kobe White has officially broken the North Carolina all-time scoring record.
Major.
He did it this past weekend.
Right.
And he did it with a 41-point game. We only needed 24, but he got 41.
I see you 20. I raise you 20 more.
We're not going to even get into that, but I just wanted to say so everyone's aware. If you're not paying attention to Kobe White, change that.
Get there.
All right, our last, we're going to skip over the NBA All-Star selections. Y'all can go somewhere else for that shit. What I do want to do before we end this, though, is have a little fun. I want to do a NBA dunk contest draft.
Okay.
There's been reports of who's in it, but Dennis, one of the guys listed, Dennis Smith, came out and said, I've not been invited to it. So we're just going to pretend like no one is officially involved.
Right.
I've got a list of guys. I would like to go back and forth. You pick one, I pick one. We'll pick 3 apiece, and then one ultimate winner.
Okay.
If you could pick any one to watch and make the dunk contest the most exciting event it could be, who would your number one dunk contest draft pick be?
My number one pick, I would probably go. I'm gonna go Terrence Ferguson. I'm gonna be a little different. I'm gonna go Ferguson first because I mean I think he's windmilled from the free throw line. If I'm not mistaken.
At the Ball is Life All-American game.
That's right. I thought I saw that. I mean he's a pogo stick, man. So I'll go Ferguson first.
I would have picked him if you did not.
Okay.
And I'll avoid the obvious ones, and I'll actually kind of go same level as you.
Okay.
Derek Jones.
Okay.
Dear NBA, we all know why Derek Jones is in the NBA.
Right. He shit the bed last year.
You have to get him in a dunk contest before he is no longer on a roster.
Right.
Because this might be the last year.
Could be.
Where he's eligible for this.
Right.
And then he's going to turn into a G League dunk contest dunker. Get him in while he's here.
It's less pressure.
He probably won't make most of his dunks, but he'll get one that'll have people like, what is going on?
Right.
Again, I don't think he's going to win it, but I would like to see him in it over a Larry Nance Jr.
Right. So, okay. So, my next pick, I'm going to go ahead and take my guy. I'm going to take Dennis.
Yeah, that's smart.
So
that's solid.
I mean, one thing about Dennis, he doesn't do things that he can't do.
Right.
So he'll make the safe dunks, but his safe dunks are shit better than 95%.
Imagine what he was capable of in high school. Think about how much more strength he has in his legs and how much more he knows just about agility and what to do in the air. I imagine the things he's doing behind the scenes right now,
unbelievable.
From a dunking standpoint, crazy.
Because
he can go between the legs off the side of the backboard like it's nothing.
Right.
Spinning and doing all this, like.
Yeah. that's off of ACL, too.
He always let Quay take that dunk shine, but the reality is Dennis.
Yeah.
Whew, the only question with Dennis is game dunks versus contest dunks. Only dunk contest we've seen him in is Super 60,
Super
right?
60. Well, he actually wasn't in it. He just did one dunk, but his one dunk was better than everybody else's.
And it was an off the side of the backboard
yeah,
side jump,
yeah.
right?
Jalen threw it to him, yeah.
So for my number 2 pick, I would actually go with, I'm trying to stay away from guys that have done it before. Donovan Mitchell. A lot of people might be confused by that one because I think he's probably more of a game dunker. But I saw him catch an alley-oop at Elite 24.
Yes.
That didn't change my life, but it made me think differently about a lot of things.
Right.
Didn't make sense how he grabbed it. I think, again, with what he knows and where his everything's at, I think he'd be able to do some stuff from a little guy's perspective that would be shocking.
True.
Your last pick for your dunk contest draft.
My last pick.
You have one guy that really might be in it, another guy that definitely should be in it. Your third pick is going to be who?
I want to see Zach LaVine, man.
Yeah, damn it. I was going to take him.
I'm sorry. For me, I think LaVine, I mean, he's won it twice?
He's won it twice doing dunks he's been doing since high school.
Right. So, I mean, I want to see something a little different. Now, he's coming off the ACL, so, I mean, obviously he won't be in it this year, but, maybe. But I'd love to see LaVine, man. He does crazy shit, bro.
So I would have taken him. We've listed everyone I had written down except 2 guys. I love Victor Oladipo. I do not want to see Victor Oladipo in a dunk contest. Nothing about me gives a single shit.
Did he sign up for it?
He's listed.
Who?
He's listed on the site we saw. I like him a lot as a basketball player. I do not care to watch him in a dunk contest.
Right.
Give me Aaron Gordon.
Yeah.
I don't really care to watch Aaron Gordon anymore.
Right.
But
Gerald Green's like,
I would rather watch Gerald Green than Aaron Gordon.
That's true.
Give me guys who live off a dunk. Give me guys, and again, the only thing I like about Aaron Gordon is he understands the showmanship of it. So he's probably making his dunks, and he's probably going to do something a little bit more advanced than those other younger guys.
Yeah.
But if you've put those guys out, even if you took some of yours and some of mine, any part of that list, and you let those guys go at it, you're probably going to yield dunks that they're going to take from street ball guys that aren't mainstream with their dunks. Kind of like what John did. The year John went over old boy and dunked it, that dunk is not hard.
Yeah.
I can't do it. Don't get me wrong, but you're boosting yourself.
Yeah.
And once he learned how to do that and realized how easy it was, it's like,
this
is going to look extremely difficult, but in reality, it's a home run.
I would love to see them put, what's the guy, DJ Stevens? Oh, yeah. I would love to see him in it, man. I don't know where he's at. I don't know if he's playing in his overseas.
Is that Ian's boy? That's the dude Ian talks about all the time. He went to Memphis?
Yeah, that's him. Yeah, like absolutely. So, I mean, I would love to put him in it. So put him on a 10-day contract, Get him in there.
Are you okay with Paul George replacing Boogie? Let me just backtrack real quick, right fast. You cool with that?
I'm good with that.
Over Lou Williams.
Reason being because, I mean, you have an allotment of guards and forwards. I mean, I would say Paul George is replacing Boogie because
from a matchup standpoint.
Right. It makes more sense.
Okay. So episode 3, we have reached the end yet again.
Okay.
In this episode, we gave you the Chris Clemons interview.
Yeah.
We talked, introduced the Flourish report, mixtapes of the week, talked NBA dunk contest.
Yeah.
We're going to try to get interviews in as much as possible. We're going to also try to continue to give you content to fit within this 60-minute parameter. You guys have been killing it. Both episodes on YouTube are at 10,000 views or more.
That's major, man.
We got people subscribing to the iTunes of all ages and demographics, and I think that speaks to Rod and his fan base and the Ball is Life contingency as well. Yeah, well, I mean, Rod, you're going to have to get used to that because the more we grow and the bigger we get, the more that people are going to lock into your personality. And that's why we're not here for me. I tell you that.
That's well.
Again, like this is going to be a call to action at the end of every episode. Please subscribe, like the video, comment on the video, get on Twitter and hashtag the New South. Last week, we gave a nice prize pack away to some kid in Indiana.
That's dope, man.
Dope.
Hey, can we give a prize pack to a fat guy in Raleigh?
No.
All right.
You got to work that into your contract.
Oh,
man.
You're right. We'll do that.
We can get your wife laced up.
That's cool. We can do that.
Okay, because I know you can't fit in her shit.
I hope not.
Well, actually, I don't know what kind of weird stuff y'all be doing behind the scenes.
She's no big body. So, but yeah, man. So hey man, I'm happy, man. Yo, keep hitting me up on Twitter, man. I like the conversation about the point guard last week outside of me smoking dick, but that was cool.
Yeah,
too,
you.
Shout out to my guy that told me I was smoking dick, but it's cool.
Really, for this week, please continue to comment and engage in conversation with us online, but also go find Chris Clemons. Go follow Chris Clemons. Go comment.
Cold bucks.
Yeah.
On Twitter.
Go. Please let Chris Clemons know that you heard him right here on this show, and pay attention to what he's doing, because he is, no matter where he lands, he's going to be a big deal. And more importantly than anything, he is a real dude, a real good person, raised the right way, treats people the right way. So this has been episode 3 of The New South. Episode 4 will be out next Monday. You can find us on iTunes. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us wherever there is to be found. We are there. For my man, Rod Bridgers, a.k.a. Rod_Bridgers.
Yeah.
I am Webb Wellman, a.k.a. Ball is Life East. We appreciate y'all, and we cannot wait to see y'all next Monday.
New South. Yeah.
Watch it.